NBA 2K25 shooting problem is a big part of why you're not enjoying the game, and by the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the true reasons why it sucks that nobody else in the community is talking about, and how 2K can fix it. I've watched many videos on this topic, scrolled through hundreds of posts and comments on X and YouTube, and I've played every single 2K in existence. And I have only played online my career modes like Park, Rec, and Crew since 2K10. I've seen the best of 2K being 2K15, and I've seen the worst of 2K, 2K21 Next Gen. You mean to tell me this motherfucker is looking at, his eyes are looking at the ball. Look at this. Ball's right here, his eyes looking at the ball. This nigga reaches with his right hand. And I can honestly say, 2K25 is probably second or third worst 2K of all time, and the shooting in this game is probably the worst in franchise history, being tied with 2K16. Now, before the 2K16 elites come and try to destroy the opinions of this video, I've already stated that 2K15 from a gameplay perspective is my favorite all time. And let's not forget, 2K16 was the first year in 2K history where you could green a shot and miss it. How's that for RNG shooting? I could really go ham on 2K16, but we're here to talk 2K25. Look, this is pro play. Look at all that goddamn space. This is pro play. It's easier to spam dribble moves, Steph Curry escape, behind the screen and shoot a three than it is to get a wide open lane to dunk the ball. And it's been like that for 4 seasons. What is this obsession with making the game stupid so that people that aren't good at anticipating things can have a fair chance at playing it? Which not only has RNG shooting, but RNG dunking, RNG steals, blocks, layups, rebounds, dribbling. Did I forget anything? To really understand the dumpster fire that is 2K25, we got to go back to 2K24. We could go further, but nobody wants a 56-hour long video. There are 4 parts to this thing that need to be discussed: badges, attributes, the contest system, and green windows. 2K24 is the first year that 2K introduced a pure green window, which meant if you timed your shot exactly right every single time, you would make it. Although it wasn't a perfect mechanic, being a hardcore casual player who plays from the start of the game's life cycle to the end, I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially in comparison to 25, because I knew once I understood my shot, I could make it every time. But let's not get it twisted. Even though we had a pure green window in last year's game, the slowdowns and speed-ups of how fast the animation would play out based on a number of factors were RNG, which actually sucked. And as the 2K24 cycle continued, the speed-ups and slowdowns became even more random and goofy as the game continued to be patched. This is coming from someone who mastered contested shooting in the game, which, whether it should or should not be in the game, or how much of it should be in the game, is a separate video. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comment section below. The pure green window was also affected heavily by Gatorade and jump shot boost, being significantly easier to do with 2K's pay-to-win aspect of using boost within the game. There was also the fact that 2K24 was green or miss, which I also preferred. Had 2K improved upon the format of 2K24 instead of trying to reinvent the wheel in 2K25, we would have gotten one of the best shooting 2Ks in 2K history. Instead, they chose to abandon a good idea to re-implement a terrible one. Fluctuating green windows don't make anyone happy that's playing the game, from casuals to sweats, and it definitely doesn't promote a skill gap. It actually promotes more cheating. I'm the type of casual that will take 2 or 3 weeks off to play 2K when it first comes out and will sit in the Gatorade gym or my court for at least an hour at a time, learning my release. If there was truly a skill gap in the game, that means that people who put more time into an element of the game end up being able to do it more successfully in live competition. 2K has completely eliminated that skill gap by reintroducing RNG into shooting. You can practice as much as you want in this game for as long as you want, and your progress will be capped off by Mike Wang and the development team trying to bring percentages down to real-life NBA numbers. In a video game where you can turn your basketball player into a burrito or a piece of fruit, Mike wants your shooting percentages to emulate real-life numbers. Here's an idea. Why don't we save the real-life numbers stuff for, you guessed it, competitive modes? I'm talking stage, pro-am, and proving rounds. That way, the best egomaniacal phonies and cheaters and dribble gods and zinners can all have a good old circle jerk over their win percentages and stats. Oh, and don't forget the screen spamming losers that just, they make this game so unbearable. Casual modes like Park, Rec, and Theater shouldn't be nearly as restrictive. Players should be rewarded for getting themselves wide open and should have a much harder time shooting shots where a defender is in close proximity to them at the start of the shot. That includes the goofy fades from three that wannabe sweats hunt for in the Park, and crab shots, which should have never been a thing and definitely were not a tactic people used in 2K15. Crabbing was something that cheesy exploiters and dribble guys started doing in 2K16, which many of these people hail as the greatest 2K of all time. 2K15 was light years ahead of 16 at launch. Better dribble moves, no dumbass speed boosting spams. There was never a conversation about dribbling right up under a defender because everyone knew that if you dribble too close to them, the ball would just fall out. In the best 2Ks, when you beat your man to the spot on defense, they don't hold on to the ball, they lose it. Guys, why do you think the dribble god exists? They only exist because back in the day, you had to be nice with your moves and combinations or you get plucked consistently and grayed out of the game. The dribble god was born out of people's inability to understand what moves to do, when and how to use them, and how to avoid getting ripped. Then eventually it became a circus to clown people that weren't really good and exploit against defensive cheese in the game. Yes, defensive cheese exists, but that's also a separate video. Badges in 2K24 were a lot better than they are in 25. While some may have been overkill, having literally only 5 badges in 2K25 compared to the plethora of essential badges we needed in 2K24 is literally 2K taking one step forward and 50 steps back. Some key badges that would instantly make 25 a better game for shooting would be Open Looks and Guard Up. Guard Up being the most slept on shooting badge in 2K history. Open Looks was important because by definition, it gave you a boost to being wide open when you take a shot as opposed to being contested or just open. And we need this badge back in the game because it promotes a playstyle that makes you want to get wide open as opposed to dumbass crabbing or fading threes with someone chasing you, which should be considered contested or open based off of proximity to you at the start of the shot, which we can all agree. At this point, can't we just get a harsher green window on all fading threes? It makes no sense that people are okay hiding behind screens the entire game with a lock sitting in the corner shooting and a guard shooting 4 for 18 from 3 while their other cone of a teammate with 99 offensive rebound magically flies to every board, even though they're clearly committing over the back fouls and have no business being that fast at any point in time to get the rebound. Guard Up is the reason why everyone in the game thinks it's okay to shoot a dumbass rhythm jumper or shot button shot while someone is right underneath them. Now, hear me out. If 2K stays as it is, terrible dribble moves that you can't break out of and it doesn't look good or make sense, slow, clunky, boring animations that don't make dribbling exciting, ineffective moves, which is why exploiters all use the same shit. If all those things remain, then we need to bring back Guard Up and give it to players at higher levels that have a combination of high dribble and shooting stats. If those things get eliminated, then Guard Up shouldn't be a thing. Last year, you could make a build with a high 3-point shot, no dribbling, and have Guard Up on Hall of Fame. Does that make sense to anybody? Guard Up is supposed to be a badge for isolation players, not corner sitters. But what do I know? Right now, Guard Up is still in the game, even though you can't see it, which makes shooting in 2K extremely unskilled. Everyone has the badge, and its level depends upon the height of the defender in front of you. Whoever thought that this was a good idea for this development cycle doesn't understand the 2K community. To make matters worse, you got people at 2K like the Corey dude. I don't even know what his job is for 2K. Talking about most people speaking opinions online don't matter because they just regurgitate what their favorite content creator is saying. Number one, if you watch the video to this point and you look at my channel being under 1,000 subs, that's a flat out lie. I've been talking for 45 minutes and my opinion on shooting vastly differs from everyone else talking about it online. Because I don't have a voice in the community right now, I would be considered among the silent majority. Number two, let's say the statement he made was true. What he's saying is that everyone who speaks up about issues in the game, your dollars don't matter. Your time doesn't matter. Does that sound like a company that cares about what you, the consumer, thinks? He basically says, shut up, give us your money, and deal with it. The man trapped in an echo chamber, talking about how to escape an echo chamber. Attributes are a complete joke in 2K, and they should have separated them out individually to keep from having 2K be a dumbass fading three-point contest every year. Wouldn't it be easier to have a set three-point pull-up rating and adjust the sliders on that as opposed to doing it for all three-point shooting? I don't have a problem with people shooting threes, but for people to be hunting fading three-point shots in a game is absolutely ridiculous. The same for dunks. There's no need to have a free throw line dunk in the game, or dunks that trigger while your defender has contact before the player goes to the animation. Think about this, everyone. In 2K25, it's harder to dunk the ball wide open or even get a contact dunk, both of which are close to the basket. It's harder to finish those types of shots than it is to shoot a fading three after running behind the screen 40 times with no stamina or adrenaline bars left. But that is also a topic for another video. And finally, the contest system is so baffling, I don't know how they put out such an embarrassing product. Everyone that's ever played basketball knows you don't foul jump shooters. One of the first things you're taught is how to properly close out. Get a hand up, but don't jump. 2K literally came out with a patch for Season 2 of NBA 2K25 and said, hey, make sure to get a proper contest. Jump at the jump shooter. Like, what? The shooting system in 2K makes it very clear that 2K is focused on the wrong things and has a lack of understanding of its core audience. What will eventually happen is there will be a steep decline in this franchise, which honestly doesn't bother me. And many people don't believe this, but look at a company like Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was all the rage in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and now they no longer even exist. They don't even have a building anymore. And it's so sad because so many talented artists don't have a job, and it's just funny how the head management at a company like that clearly didn't understand its audience either, which is the reason why Cartoon Network went from being the premier place for some of the best cartoons on the face of the planet to being a place that was trying to compete with Nickelodeon and Disney by adding in like live action skits and shows. And it's like, why are you putting mustard on top of my ice cream? I have no dog in this fight when it comes to 2K being successful or not. I am a consumer just like you, the person viewing this video. Whether 2K stays or goes means no difference to me. I'm just here to talk about the facts and give my perspective. They gave us Gravity Ball and a jacked up RNG shooting game, focused on the wrong things. They created a game where you can put your attributes anywhere. In theory, this sounds like a great idea. In actuality, it's a terrible one. They don't know how to balance it. The best thing to do to bring the game back to where they can start, emphasis on the word start to make it fair again, is to bring back dual archetypes and keep it that way. Fix the physics and all the annoying things, but dual archetypes are going to give us the best chance to have a fun game again, along with balanced shooting. If you'd like to hear more about my thoughts on the build system or want to talk anything in regards to 2K, let me know down below in the comment section. We need change, and you, the viewer, can only do it by letting your voice be heard. Let's make so much noise here that nobody at 2K will be able to lie and say we live in an echo chamber, because 2K15 is my favorite of all time, and 22 and 23 are better games than 25. And at this rate, with 2K blaming its game problems on realism and not the fact that the game literally takes over your controller, it's only going to get worse.